comes from, the sorting goes into the fermentation vessels, 2 days of cold, so 10 to 14 days of fermentation. And we're a gravity flow winery, so we don't pump, filter, press, elevate our wines, except for one little movement I'll show you later. But we move them all by gravity. So we're moving from the highest point of the winery to the lowest point of the winery. Well, the wine makes a few stops along the way, and this is its next stop. These tanks right behind Mike, and those are the settling tanks. So we take the wine out and put it in these tanks and let the sediments that are still in the liquid settle to the bottom. Then we rack off of the top. Now, is that a term that you understand? That you know, racking?
I do, I don't know.
So we rack off of the top, which effectively is a wine word for siphon. So we siphon the clear wine from the top because the bottom is cloudy. And when we get the first hint of cloudiness in that wine, we stop. And that wine goes to the barrels. We'll bring more wine in from the same vineyard, same process, fill that barrel again, let the sediment settle, and rack off of the top again, the clear wine. Eventually, we won't be able to do that because we run out of wine. So then we'll take all of that heavily sedimented wine and we'll strain it and take the good wine out and the sediment disappears. What's important is that we don't filter it, nor push it, nor press it, or exert any kind of assault on the wine. And it's an expensive process because it has to be done by hand. We do the same thing in the barrels. We rack it to get clarity. We rack it and rack it and rack it. Siphoning from the top, going half barrel, putting it in another barrel, and just repeating that process over and over and over throughout its barrel life to get clarity. The alternatives to doing that are practices that a lot of winemakers use in Oregon, California, with a process called fining. You've probably seen or heard that word. And fining means that another agent is introduced into the wine that will attract and collect the sediments. And those agents are historically have been either egg whites or more recently it's gelatins.
It's the proteins in them, right, that help to attract the
sediment. It's in the
Is it the same way you get you feel tannins in the back of your lip? Is it because it's attracted to the proteins in your mouth?
I learn something all the time. I learn so much just by these kinds of visits. So again, no filtering, no pumping, no bruising of the wines whatsoever. Ready to go?
Yeah.
You go with it. These labels on the ends of the barrels will, a couple things. One, we can look at this one and find out that this barrel was first used, its life began in 2008, the 9th of October, when it was first filled in 2008. And each one of those cards is from a different year, so there's 8, 9, 10, 11 cards there. And this is really the birth certificate for the wine that's in there that will describe when it arrived and how it's been cared for in the course of since the 31st of October last fall.
So this is the 2011.
Those are 2011 wines that will be released for consumption in February 2013. So 2 years.
2 years.
From harvest to release.
So about a year and a half in barrel then?
A year and a half average, probably.
Yeah,
Some
give or
chilies.
take.
Yeah, some, depending on what's going on. Right now, because the weather's been cooler, one of the staff members is doing some inoculation of putting some yeasts back into the barrels, because that secondary level of fermentation that goes on in the barrel, called malolactic fermentation, it's been cold. We haven't had warm weather, and it hasn't kicked up. on the vineyards and putting those back in. And they always reserve some of that anyway, so that'll kind of give it a jump start and let those flavors develop fully. Let's walk on down. Eric, is downhill from Alpha Basis. Correct.
You hear that? When he was talking and he got to whatever spot, all of a sudden, yeah.